In early 2018, Donald Trump and the Republican Party held a rare trifecta, commanding control of the White House, the United States Senate, and the House of Representatives. This unified control allowed them to pass major partisan legislation without opposition, most notably the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. This was followed by an aggressive, persistent effort to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, moving the national policy landscape significantly to the right. The president campaigned vigorously throughout the off-year to protect this agenda. He held high-energy rallies across the country in an attempt to defy historical trends and maintain his party's grip on Congress. Despite having total institutional power and a highly motivated base, the administration was moving toward a historic statistical trap. Political mechanics are governed by an iron law. In almost every instance, the party that holds the presidency is mathematically destined to lose seats in the following midterm. Since the Civil War, the president's party has lost House seats in 38 of 41 midterms, a 93% failure rate. This regularity is the presidential penalty. Voters systematically turn against the party in power, regardless of leader or economy. Is this simply a case of voter fatigue? Or is there a strategic, mechanical reason the American public behaves this way? The 2018 midterm offers a rare chance to see this hidden mechanical force in action. To understand the 2018 backlash, we look to the Thermostatic Model of public opinion, a theory formalized by political scientists Christopher Lezian and Stuart Soroka. The theory suggests when a president is elected, they push policy in their preferred ideological direction. The public behaves like a thermostat. As policy shifts too far, voters adjust their preferences in the opposite direction to cool things down. During midterms, the identity of the president is a known quantity. Moderate swing voters use their ballots as an ideological hedge, voting for the opposition to ensure no single party has total control. The objective of the midterm voter is to strip the president of their majority and enforce legislative gridlock. In 2018, healthcare was the specific policy that caused the electorate's temperature to spike. The persistent Republican effort to repeal the Affordable Care Act, especially the protections for pre-existing conditions, was viewed by many as a significant ideological overreach. The Democratic Party leveraged this public cooling. They dedicated nearly half of their television advertisements to hammering Republicans on this single policy threat. This triggered a massive thermostatic reaction at the polls. Turnout hit 49.4%. Marking the highest participation rate for a midterm election since 1914. Suburban voters and independents, groups that prioritize a balance of power, shifted toward the opposition to force a correction. The historic 2018 turnout was a defensive reaction, a collective attempt to cool a politically overheated environment. On election night, the blue wave arrived in the House. Democrats gained 40 seats, ending the Republican majority and taking control of the chamber. However, the Senate results looked like a paradox. Republicans actually increased their majority, netting 2 additional seats. This contrast was driven by a difficult geographic map. Democrats had to defend 10 seats in states that Donald Trump had won in 2016, making a Senate takeover statistically unlikely regardless of the national mood. Despite the Senate numbers, the national temperature shift was visible in the House, where every district was on the ballot, and the thermostatic correction could be fully expressed. The immediate result of the Democratic House victory was the collapse of the Republican legislative trifecta. Without the House, the president can no longer pass partisan legislation. Any new bill requires the consent of the opposition leadership to reach the floor. Ambitious policy agendas stall and are replaced by congressional oversight. The results in 2018 illustrate the mechanical nature of American politics. The election was a predictable response to policy shifts rather than a random fluke or a reaction to a single personality. By dividing control of the government, the electorate ensures that neither party can govern without compromise, effectively pulling the country back toward a centrist baseline. The midterm functions as a built-in emergency brake, a safety valve used by voters to restore balance whenever a president tries to push national policy too far, too fast.